Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Stephenson is back in the NBA, so we're going to talk about his very unusual career and how he got to this point with the Indiana Pacers, where he's on a 10-day contract and playing some really good basketball. Coming out of high school, Lance Stephenson was one of the most hyped up prospects we've seen in a long time. He was even given the nickname Born Ready, as in born ready for the NBA, but apparently attitude problems held him back and he had to go to a smaller school, the University of Cincinnati. At Cincinnati, Lance Stephenson averaged 12 points per game on 44% shooting in his freshman year, but for some reason he decided to declare for the 2010 NBA draft after his freshman year. Due to being very unproven, Lance Stephenson fell to the second round of the 2010 NBA draft to the Indiana Pacers, who had selected Paul George earlier that night. Lance struggled to get playing time in his first two seasons as he was a second round pick, but he finally caught a break in the 2012-2013 season when Danny Granger went down with an injury, and it moved him up to the starting shooting guard position. He would average 8 points per game as his Indiana Pacers would go on to take the Miami Heat to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, but this was only the beginning for Lance Stephenson. The 2013-2014 season was a big season for Lance Stephenson because he led the league in triple-doubles and averaged 13 points per game and 4 assists. Although the Pacers still fell short to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals once again, he did blow in LeBron's ear, and that is still an iconic moment to this day. But he was a free agent, and he thought he could earn more money with the Charlotte Hornets, and that is exactly what he did, even though the Pacers actually offered him more money. He unfortunately would only average 8 points per game with the Charlotte Hornets and was actually let go after 60 games with the team. Lance bounced around the league for the next 2 years with the Clippers, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, and Pelicans until 2017 when the Pacers finally gave him a call. The Pacers would go on to get swept by LeBron and the Cavs, and Paul George would be traded that offseason, but Lance would come back for the 2017-2018 season and actually had a really good year. He would average 9 points per game off the bench and reignited his beef with LeBron James. And in the first round, the Pacers would actually force the Cavaliers to 7 games, and it was very shocking, and the Pacers looked like they were a very promising team. Lance was a free agent and he had to make a decision, and he did the unthinkable and signed with the LA Lakers and teamed up with LeBron James. He averaged 7 points per game off the bench, but it didn't matter. The Lakers missed the playoffs and Lance was let go that offseason. He then went to China and averaged about 20 points per game and almost came back to the Pacers before the pandemic hit. Lance was out of the NBA until December of 2021 when the Atlanta Hawks came calling. They signed him to a 10-day contract, but he did not do much there. But then, after that, the Indiana Pacers gave him a call once again. He wasn't expected to do much in Indiana, but he did the unthinkable once again in his home return to Indiana against the Brooklyn Nets. In the first quarter, he came in and dropped 20 points in just the first quarter in 6 minutes, and he finished the night with 30 points. At the time of this recording, Lance Stephenson is still with the Indiana Pacers on a 10-day contract, and they will likely sign him for the rest of the season after the trade deadline. But that is the story of Lance Stephenson. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.